Hello again, music fans. I am back here for another video. This time it's a thread response video to the video from Darcy Six Strings Nine Lives, who posed a very interesting thread. Bands that you were late to the party for. We've all had those. Everybody's already jumped on that bandwagon and says how great they are, and you don't either don't have any records from them, or have never even heard of them. Which is kind of like worse. All right. So I'm going to show here a few bands from different genres. All right. We have some classic rock, some prog rock, some, shall we say, 80s rock, and then a couple of metal bands. All right. Let's start with the oldest one here, which is here Thin Lizzy. All right. Of course, I've always heard how cool this band is. As you know, Metallica covered one of their songs, which is "Whiskey in the Jar." Actually, that was, I believe, it may have been the time when they kind of came on my radar, even though I had, peripherally heard of them before. When I have this greatest hits, and I love it. It's great through and through. Of course, it's the hits, but it's the kind of record that leaves you wanting more. So I do want to get more into Thin Lizzy. The second band is a band from England, which I also only have a greatest hits of, and that is here Magnum, who is a hard rock band, not metal. They do have some influences of power metal, but not really getting into metal. Just a good melodic hard rock band, Magnum. This is the greatest hits of them, and even though it's the greatest hits, it's from a certain era right here. I believe it's from the 80s to the 90s, and it doesn't have the song that made me want to be a fan of this band, which is All England's Eyes. That's a great track. Okay, so I want to get more from Magnum. Of course, there's a whole bunch of other bands that I want to get more of. You've seen me talk about that in my videos, but those are bands that I already know of. Like Saxon. Of course, I've known Saxon since the 80s, and I've been a fan of them. I'm not late to that party. All right, but I do want to get more from that band. And this is a case of a band that I only recently, in recent years, had heard of, Magnum. Another band that I had, again, heard, on the sidelines, but I never really got into them, that's Marillion. I'm a big fan of progressive rock. All right, and I had seen their CDs, their records, in fact. I remember seeing the LP of Script for a Jester's Tear way back in the day. All right, but it didn't really catch my eye for some reason. It wasn't until much later. Now, this CD that you're seeing is actually one that I got for free from the band themselves. I don't know if they still have this method, all right, on their website. But if there's a part on their website where you can put in your address, and they will send you either a free download or a free CD. Of course, being I love physical media, so I opted for the CD. And yes, indeed, like about a month and a half later, I got an envelope from England with the CD. All right. Next two bands I'm going to talk about are ones that I do not have CDs of, but I have recently heard stuff from them, and I definitely want to get into these bands. One of them is one of the ones that Darcy Six Strings Nine Lives mentioned, which is Death. All right. Now, I'm not much into death metal, because I've always found it. Well, this is perhaps a stereotype that I found it to be a bit one note. Just a bit too much an onslaught, and I like my metal to have some light and shade to it. Some different dynamics to it, and I know that Death, I've read, and that Death in their later period really started to mix progressive elements into their music, so that really interests me. And I have heard some Death, of course, and I like what I hear. Okay, so I'm probably going to start out with one of their latter period albums. And as far as death metal in general, I am late to the party of that entire genre. Having dismissed it for so many years, but I do want to get back in. Well, not back into it, but into it for the first time. I've already dipped my toe in it with bands like Arch Enemy, that I have quite a few CDs of. Also Carcass, which I have a CD of them. I like what I hear. And well, the other band that I'm late to the party for, but I want to get into that party. It's Nile, the American death band, Nile, which like Death, they also mix in a lot of progressive elements into their music, which I really like. I've heard some stuff on YouTube, and it's really dynamic. It's not just an all-on onslaught of stuff. It's a, it's just some Middle Eastern soloing in there. Some influences from their Egyptian themes. Of course, and also their lyrics. Which are very interesting. They put all that Egyptian mythology in there, which I think is pretty cool. All right, well, those are 5 bands that I'm late to the party for, but I definitely want to get into them. Okay, congratulations for Darcy, because that was a really good idea for a thread. All right, so thanks for watching. Keep rocking.